Shields up, Iron Breakers. How's everybody doing today on this fine Wednesday afternoon? Hopefully you're all doing good, and hopefully we can improve on that with another edition of Khan's Anvil, where we talk about gaming news, banter around games, and all of that good stuff. How's everybody doing? Mr. Late, listen, I'm doing my best, okay? You guys try live streaming with two kids during summer break, all right? I'm doing my best over here. It's 5 minutes, okay? 5 minutes. Bro, and I've actually been fairly consistent with videos recently. I feel like we got like what? We got a review on Endless Ragnarok. We got a new guide. We got some good stuff. I'm actually trying to see if I work on... there's an embargo lifting later today, but I'm not going to be able to hit that embargo. But I've actually been... I started playing a new game this morning that is interesting. It's interesting. I'm very curious to see how it evolves, but it's been an interesting morning. We'll see. We'll see where that one's go. My belief in Ruri was a mistake. Jesus. That's how we're starting? Damn. Damn. That's crazy. My belief in Ruri was a mistake. Oh my god. So today we are going to be talking about the PlayStation situation with their shift over to not supporting physical anymore. You guys can bring your opinions to the forefront as well, because it's been something that I've been talking about quite a bit in social media, and it's been something that's been very, very frustrating. So we definitely need to touch up on that, do a bit of an update on that situation, make sure that we carry on the fight, because it is important. It is important to make them see the error of their ways. This is something that some suit decided somewhere, and it's just frustrating as hell that people keep doing strange I mean, not strange, because they get to make more money, basically. But it just kind of sucks that we just keep losing our consumer rights. We just keep losing stuff, and we never get given anything in return. Oh, man. I was the only one who believed you would be on time, and you were late. It was literally my kids. Like, not even joking. They got into a spat, like, 10 minutes before I'm supposed to start the live stream. Just that simple. I was gonna say something about you shit-talking PlayStation while sitting on a PlayStation stair, but you bamboozled me with a standing desk. Got him! Not to mention that, listen, the chair that I've been using, actually... It's that one. That's the chair I've been sitting in, actually. So, yeah. I could see the physical media dying a while back. That's why I just ended up switching to PC about 2 years ago. I mean, I switched to PC as well, don't get me wrong. And I could see it as well. But that doesn't make it right the way in which they're doing things.
If only
so do keep that in mind.
So grossly incandescent.
That's a comfy ass chair. It is! It is really comfortable, actually. Dave, thank you very much for being gross to get this for 42 months. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Thank you. Is he dual streaming? Yes. I'm always dual streaming. At least I've been trying to do as many dual streams as possible. Actually, we're triple streaming because we're also streaming to X. I don't know how many people actually watch the show on X, but it's an option. You take that chair from some hotel conference room, so generic? No, I took it from one of the old offices I worked at. Stole it. It's mine now. The laws need to be better with digital media ownership, then it would honestly be fine. No, it's still not fine. I'll tell you guys why when the time comes, why it's still not fine, even if laws are better with digital ownership. Specifically in the case of PlayStation, it's still not fine. It's still not fine. When did you get a standing desk? I have one and it's awesome. I've had it for the longest, I mean, pretty much since I moved here. So it's been like, did I move here last year or the year before? Time flows strangely in Lordran. I think I only moved here last year. So I've had this standing desk for a year now. It's really good. Really, really good. Sony is a big L, though. I refuse to buy consoles anymore. I mean, yeah. We do need more laws for digital ownership rights. I completely agree. No, I agree with that, but two things can be correct. But anyway, before we start, as per usual, we're going to do our shout-outs. Do the shout-out to the Thames! Dan Pribernow, Jenny, Colin LaShore, Crowmag, and Louise. Thank you very much for being grossly incandescent as Thanes! You absolute giga-chads. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's see. So, I guess the first thing that we do have on the docket is going to be Sony. Is there any particular news that has happened the last couple of days that maybe I've missed? Because I feel like I just fell into a hole of Endless Ragnarok. We're going to be talking a little bit more about Endless Ragnarok today as well. Because, as you guys know, the last stream we did was like 5 hours straight of wiping on Lucy. And I want to show you guys what the next attempt after that one was. I want to show you guys that. I feel a lot of people underestimate how much the rest of the world has difficulty accessing digital games. Oh yeah, absolutely. Just bought Battlefield Hardline yesterday for $7. It's been delisted on PSN. Hardline was delisted? I did not know that. Interesting. They released physical sales numbers that proves nobody buys any. No. That's not it. We're gonna be talking about that too. We're gonna be talking about all of that shenanigans. How is Ragnarok so far? I haven't started yet. I greatly enjoyed it. My biggest complaints, I made like a whole video talking about it, was like my biggest complaints were I wanted more new monsters. So like I wanted more new encounters. Because there's not that many. And I've seen people make the argument, it's like, well, G-Rank doesn't get that many new monsters. It's like, well, yeah, but they bring back old ones that were not in the base game. And they become new for that specific game. It's like, I don't think it's comparable. Like, a lot of people brought that up in my video, and I'm just like, I don't agree. I don't think it's entirely comparable. Some things are, like, for instance, if you bring, like, a variant or something like that, yeah, these are kind of like variants. Like, the Ragnalia beasts, they're kind of like variants of what was in the base game. I'll accept that one. But, like, bringing back older monsters that are new skeletons for the game and whatnot, that I don't agree. Yeah. But like I said, I think Ragnarok is still phenomenal. I think that for the price they're asking, it's absolutely worth it. It's a ton of fun. Biggest complaint is I wanted new monsters. Conflux should absolutely have a multiplayer mode. For some reason, people come up with all kinds of strange excuses as to why Conflux shouldn't have a multiplayer mode. I don't agree with any of them. I just don't agree. I just think you're wrong. Like, straight up. Like, the people that were like, it'd be so hard to choose all the leader chooses. It's literally that easy. The leader of the party, they choose the power-ups. They choose the path. Boom. All problems solved. It's like instantly, all problems solved. It's like there's no reason. There really is no reason not to do it. But, yeah. To be fair, I think that there's like 6 new weapons if we have... Oh, yeah. The added new characters? Absolutely. Fantastic. But here's the thing. They've done more than just add new characters. And you're like, well, they've added 6 new characters, so that's 6 new playstyles. Like, no. There's way more than that, because each existing character got 3 different master trait trees, and each of those can actually change the way that you play each of the existing characters. So in terms of ways to play the game... value in spades. It's awesome. But yeah. Master traits are kind of all over the place, sadly. I don't know. The ones that for Galanza and for Eugen, which are the two that I've explored the most, those feel very different in the way that they play. Now, the other biggest problem that I would complain about at Endless Ragnarok is friggin' Lucilius, okay? Lucilius is a terrible fight. Defy Infinity Lucilius can eat my ass. It's garbage. It's a garbage fight. Ruri Cygames Project Awakening Thoughts. There's actually something that I had saved up to talk about that, I think. Didn't I? Wasn't there like I think there's a Jamatsu article or something that I had bookmarked. Yeah, here it is. We should definitely go over that one as well. I almost forgot. Thank you for bringing that up, because I almost had forgotten that I also need to talk about that one. I guess we'll talk about it after this. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. We'll go over this article here from Jamatsu where they talk about that stuff for sure. I was wondering if there was more news that I had missed or not, but I don't think there has been. Sandalphon has a very illusion of choice mastery traits. Unfortunately, Promising Wing is definitely his best, but Refuge just okay. It's not that great. I mean, if you really start going meta on all of them, there's always going to be something that comes out on top. That's just the nature of the game. Even if it's by 0.5% or something, something's always going to come out on top. The question is, can you still play with the other styles? So, let's start by talking about Endless Ragnarok real quick. Like I told you guys, let me just pause the music here. Me, Dave, and Wada got together the same day that we did that live stream. It was the same day that we did that live stream, and we were just like, okay, let's try again. And this is, I'm not joking, this was literally the next attempt. This was literally the next attempt after 6 hours of wiping, okay? So we're gonna jump in, and the only thing that we changed was Dave came up and he said, okay, just unga bunga. Just unga bunga the fuck out of this guy and go. And that was it. That was the only change. Also, we have a Frau. He got a backup Frau from the interwebs. Bro, Paradise Lost. Jesus. Oh, I actually got hit there? That's terrible. We're playing Punch Eugen, by the way. Punch Eugen can detonate grenades by using the raining down thing, as well as his retreat shot. Feels like this a little bit on the loud side. Let me lower it a little bit. By the way, in case you guys are wondering, one of the things that pisses me off the most, we've talked about this on the stream, but for those of you that weren't here for the actual stream, one of the things that pisses me off the most about Lucilius is straight up, if you stick 3 grenades on him and he teleports, the grenades just poof, they disappear. They're gone. They're gone. Effectively, you know, denying all the damage that I would have done from placing those grenades there, it just gets deleted. And you might be thinking, oh, that sucks, but maybe it's just the thing about the teleport. No, the world also teleports all over the fucking place, and the grenades stay. So whenever the world does a teleport, the grenades are still there when he's done teleporting, so I can still capitalize on the fact that he did a teleport, and I can still shoot my grenade and blow it up. So in the world boss fight, everything works like normal. For some reason, Lucilius is like, fuck all that, I don't care. I do not care. 0 fucks given. So that's like the Punch Eugen build gets pretty much hard nerfed, which is the one that we're playing, then Poison Eugen build is completely unplayable because he's immune to all debuffs, so you can't poison him, can't paralyze him, which are the two main things that Poison Eugen can kind of like do to buff himself and to deal damage. That leaves you with Sniper Eugen, which, have I mentioned that the boss teleports all over the place? Try manually aiming your shots against Lucilius. Good luck! It's a lot of fun. So it just kind of like denies most of Eugen's, and this is just Eugen, which is one of my favorite character play. I have no idea how he works with all of the other characters that might rely on things like that. Try to have my kid play Grand Blue to make his mind. He watched some of your endgame streams, came back. Nah, I can't see shit on screen. Too many AoEs all at once. Takes quite a bit to get used to it. You should have told him that I'm playing with the first degree of reduced special effects, so it's not even all the special effects that could potentially be on screen. Didn't we actually miss this one? I think there might be a swords phase that we even missed, and we still killed him. By the way, I've since then actually soloed him using Galanza. I've soloed Lucy using Galanza and just my NPCs. Bro, we almost missed this, but no, we actually did it. I think I remember I thought we had missed it. Such an annoying fight. Oh yeah, we missed the... Wait, did we miss it? I forget if I think we might have missed that. Yeah, I think we missed a chain burst. And we still killed him, that's the funny part. Celestial Fusion. Big special effects. Damn, look at all the buffs on that friggin' Frau. Ray, what's your favorite quest / battle? I don't know. I like quite a few of them. I like fighting the dragons quite a bit. I guess the 4 dragons be one of the ones that I really enjoyed. Dragons are very enjoyable for the most part. In terms of like, say, Defy Infinity, probably between Beelzebub and the world, but the last boss fight's also pretty cool. Beelzebub's alright. 4 dragons or 4 dragons? You know exactly what I mean, you video game nerd. Boom, boom, boom. But as you can see, it was just straight up unga bunga. Like, that was it. We were overthinking the whole thing about, like, oh no, we have to save our SBAs. We have to do the link of time at this specific point. It's like, nope. Unga bunga the fucker. Shoot him down. Don't let him do things. Punch him dead. That was it. Hey, Isaiah. Boom, boom, boom. By the way, pay no attention to the amount of health my Eugen has. He's just a very resilient boy, okay? 475,000 HP is a perfectly reasonable number, okay? It's a very reasonable number for Eugen. He's doing all right. He's got a lot of health. Means he can take a lot of damage. He's a happy guy. Or is it safe to say that Grand Blue Fantasy Relink Endless Ragnarok is the best anime JRPG action game? I don't know. I haven't played all of them. I really like Xenoblade games when it comes to JRPGs. Those might be my favorite ones. I wouldn't say that this is the best one, but it's got one of the best combat systems of an anime RPG for sure. Stat padding? No. He needs it. It's necessary for optimal damage. You want to know why? Optimal damage is ensured when you have optimal survivability. Therefore, if you can make sure that you survive almost everything, your damage will be optimal. Because you're alive and you're dealing damage all the time. Do you deal more damage when Link is at 100%? Is it best to break enemy, use Link, then SBA? Yes. You don't deal more damage when Link is... I mean, you deal more damage during Link time, but just having Link at 100% does not increase your damage, no. Bahamut! Boom. That black frame and the black t-shirt and the camera frame making Ruri look buffed as fuck. Ugh, I'm so big, I'm huge and swole! Aw, man, I died during this mechanic. Oh, this was when I still had auto revival on Eugen. I don't think I have it anymore. World's strongest dwarf. Yes, this is the way. The boss keeps just like taking my grenades away. I'm working hard over here, making sure the boss has grenades stuck on him. And the boss is just like, nope, don't want it. No Paradise Lost for you. Grenades is what you get. Swole Rurikhan. Damn, Arseni's just having like a conniption fit over there over all the anime speak. I'll lower the volume a little bit more. There. Now I finally made it to endgame so I can go back and watch the live streams. Hey, Antonio. How have you been enjoying Endless Ragnarok? I'm just showing people our Lucilius kill since we had the live stream that took us like 5 hours and we didn't get the kill. This was the immediate after of that. I wasn't able to hit that one. Huh. It was after dinner, not immediately after. Yeah, I mean, there weren't any more attempts between this stream and this one, is what I'm saying. Like, we took a break, but we didn't, like, practice or anything. This was the next attempt. Just tanking them lasers, lol. Yeah. That's the beauty of 475,000 HP. Like, look at this. I don't care. I'll go through that. Oh, never mind. Actually, I can't go through that. It's fine. I needed to get rid of the max HP debuff. That's why I did it. My Eugen's actually a little bit more powerful now because I've changed some of his stuff around since recording this. Boom, boom, boom. Oh crap, the registration for Duskbloods is open? Where do you sign up for this damn thing? So anyways, we killed Lucy, but I need to figure out how do we sign up for this Duskbloods stuff? How to apply? Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, see this doesn't work on the Portuguese version. The biggest problem with Flashpoint, you Jenny, is that if you die, which happens often during Defy Infinity, you lose the whole thing. So you're constantly building up to 10 stacks, and then you die and you lose everything, and then you die and you lose everything. And dying even once and losing your buff even once, it's kind of just like, oh, okay, there goes everything. They forgot about Portugal. Do we not get to sign up for the closed beta test? Like, what the fuck? Region, Europe, Portugal, English. Apply for the network test now. How to apply. Application period, apply. Apply here. Please make sure to select I did. Already did. Oh, it's gone again? I just selected this. Portugal, English, UK. Okay. What? Is it not working? Can I not be in Portugal and have English UK? Make sure to select your country region of residence before proceeding. I have. I guess that message just stays there. Apply now. Apply here. Yes, I agree with everything. Take my soul. Blank Nintendo account. Let me see if I agree. Error. What the fuck? Please try linking your Nintendo account again. I agree. Error. Okay, it's probably broken. I imagine it's broken. Yep. Rip Bozo. Need to select country in the Nintendo page? I did! I have everything. Like, look, my whole fucking thing is connected. Oh, this? Yeah, country region setting. There. Ah! Okay, you guys will need to see everything. See. Age? Why do you need to know my age, bro? Fuck! Internet connection type? Wired. Why do they need to see my age? Like, what the fuck? Check the boxes for any games that you've played. Elden Ring Night Rain, Armored Core, Elden Ring, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. I actually did play the Rosane. Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls Remastered, Bloodborne, Demon Souls from software products other than those listed above. I don't think I have. I haven't played the previous games that they had done. Okay, there you go. Review submission. Okay. Yes. Application submitted. Thank you for applying. Okay. Results will be announced August 7th. There we go. I almost forgotten that I had to sign up for this thing today. Thank you for bringing it up. Ray, how the hell do I beat Fatalis after phase 3? You hit him harder than he hits you. Too many, they won't believe you. It's verifiable, luckily, in my case. So then what happened was we went to do the final boss fight, and it glitched out on us. So like, see here? Okay, no, this was not the point, but it glitched out on us. Yeah, here it just glitched out. We weren't able to break the wall. No, is it still working? No, in here it's still working. But there's a point at which it broke. Okay, it's this one. See, we weren't able to break through this. We even did like an SBA on the wall to see if it would reset it or something. But the boss just literally glitched. We did a chain burst on this fucking wall and it didn't break. Yes, Omnis Zega unlocks after you beat the other 4. And this is how you actually get to fully upgrade your Terminus weapon. But see, for whatever reason, it broke. This was our first attempt on the final boss, and the game glitched, so then we went in a second time. Which should be... We'll just do a quick bio. But yeah, this was the other attempt. Give me a second. The final boss I thought was way cooler because you can actually poison it and you can actually play it regularly. We can actually set it on fire, which is part of my the build that I use for Eugen. So I was like, oh my god, I can poison it? Oh no, that's crazy. Look at it, I set it on fire, I poisoned it, you can paralyze it, just like an actual boss fight. That was just us going at it. I don't know what I'm doing on Saturday at Ketnet. Do I have high expectations for Duskbloods after Night Rain? Absolutely. I think it's going to be awesome. The biggest concern is the limitations on Switch because of their network system and all of that good stuff. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull it off. Gold Rock full. We failed a lot of these checks. Could have been crossplay, should have been crossplay. Omnis Segalith is the most lame boss of the Phi Infinity ones. Lucilius exists. I was attacking the wrong one, was I? Your Honor. What do you mean I was attacking the wrong one? Avajur. Okay, I started on the wrong one because we didn't know what was happening. And then I swapped to Law of Gold because I wanted to do it like balance. And then Gold Rockfall. Gold Rockfall is Law of Gold. Like, you don't see it, but I'm swapping the targets. You understand that Eugen is manually aimed, right? Yeah, I'm looking at the lock-on doesn't matter. What matters is where the grenade's landing. I can't believe, dude. I can't believe guys are like, oh, Ruri's attacking the wrong one. You motherfuckers have never played at Eugen, and it fucking shows. You have no idea how you play this character. Attacking the wrong one. Like, there is a grenade on the blue one because sometimes I miss grenades. My aim is not 100%. I'm sorry. It's like, you guys try playing Eugen. I was 100% focused on getting the gold one. I can't believe I have to listen to this slander. This absolute slander. I thought you were actually playing the game. I thought I was having terrible connection every time I paused. No. I'm just showing you guys the last two bosses that we did because we did them off stream. Struck a nerve, found his triggered date. I mean, it's like, listen, I don't mind getting criticized when I'm doing something wrong. It does piss me off when I'm getting criticized and I'm doing everything right. That's one of the reasons I don't play Eugen. Yeah, you're fighting with the camera a lot of the time if you're playing Eugen. It's very frustrating. Like look at that, okay? That little bit right there shows you exactly one of the biggest issues of playing Eugen, right? Look. When we approach the boss to shoot, notice that I'm aiming the camera directly at the point that I want to shoot. And when I go into sniper mode, the camera does this. What? Like, watch it do it. I'm aiming the camera because I want to shoot in this exact direction, right? Look at what the game does. So why don't you shoot over there? It's like, why? I'm literally facing the camera here. Why would you make me shoot here? It's one of the most frustrating things about playing this character. Happens all the fucking time. There are so many times where I'll be trying to aim the camera somewhere and you go in the sniper mode and Eugen's like, it's like, what? It's where the character is facing. Yeah, but it shouldn't be. It should be where the camera is facing. Because, like, I can't, you know, obviously you want to be aiming, you will aim with the camera. You're not aiming to where the character is aiming. Aim this assist. Yep. And I, by the way, in case you guys are like, oh, but you have camera correction. No, I have all the camera settings turned off. All of them. So that there's no updates, no nothing. I have everything turned off. A-Rock, I believe that that's been somewhat solved for now because the person who's in charge is still the person in charge. They weren't able to affect any change, but they did increase on the amount of people that agree with them to like 40-something%. So it's a lot closer, but they weren't able to enact change this year. Because of the bursty nature of Eugen, you have to kind of like split your damage before they announce which one it is so that you have damage on both of them. That's why I was hitting the black and the white. Eugen versus Eustace, who do you prefer now that you've played both? Eugen. But the thing is, it's not like I will. I very rarely choose things based on their performance. I will choose things based on the playstyle that I find the most enjoyable, and you know, just even the character that I find the most enjoyable. And I like Eugen more than I like Eustace. Eustace is fun though, but Eugen I like more. I don't know which one is better. Probably Eustace is better than Eugen, I would imagine. For AFK, Eustace is definitely better than Eugen. Eustace is pretty straightforward. Depends on the playstyle that you choose, but yes. No. Big explosions. My Eustace is currently built for skill damage, by the way. The one where you have to use Flamek Thunder with something else. Is Eugen your entire roster favorite, Ruri? Yes. Eugen's my favorite. The next one currently is probably Galanza. Really like Galanza. I would probably also like Rackham, but I haven't played a whole lot of Rackham because I'm already playing one ranged character. I do want to level up a Rackham, but currently the next character I'm working on is going to be Charlotta. No, I haven't seen anything about a co-op mod for Dragon's Dogma 2. Which game is this, man? Grand Blue Fantasy Relink Endless Ragnarok. So it is the major expansion to Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. Yodarha? Yodarha's a little potato dude. For a second, I thought we weren't going to get that one. Jesus. A killer potato. Yes. Yodarha the tater. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Boom. Punch Eugen actually ended up being a lot more fun than I initially predicted because it's not strictly punching for the grenades. You can also detonate the grenades using armor-piercing rounds and his evade shot, which I find very, very fun. Tangalanza is so OP, went into Infinite Lucilis with my eye blind, beat it first try with time to spare. Tangalanza is definitely an absolute beast, and if you have your AI team built up, that's how I soloed him after we did it like this. Will I be streaming Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave on release? Most likely, no. Give me a second. I'm not sure if I would call it OP. It's definitely really survivable, but I feel like he lacks a little bit in terms of damage. Spin Galanza, that is. I think that a lot of video games are going to struggle with their release window this year. Free gameplay watch show epic. I'm just showing you guys how we beat the final bosses. That's it. Because of damn GTA. Yep. GTA just took all the oxygen out of the room. There's another game that I want to get into again, and I haven't been able to because of these friggin' cramped release windows, but I really want to jump back into Soulframe. Soulframe's also looking really good. Yeah, Lords of the Fallen 2 got delayed to 2027. Thank God. But now we have... Don't we have Mortal Shell on top of Duskbloods now? Yeah, right? That's the thing. Isn't Mortal Shell now on top of Duskbloods? I think that's the thing. Mortal Shell... Have I not updated it yet? Should have. Yeah, Mortal Shell 20th of August, and the friggin' the network test is the 21st. Crimson Moon is indeed looking very interesting. That is September. You're quite welcome, Antonio. Pressures shaping the world. Reject annihilation. Eugenia, I doubt that most of the people in my channel care about GTA. There might be a couple, but I think that most of us don't care. I could be wrong, though, because it is an incredibly popular franchise. I have nothing against it, but I don't like their anti-consumer practices like, oh, no physical version, you get a code in a box, we're gonna section off like half of the game if you don't pay for the deluxe edition. It's like, wow, okay. That's cool. Will the Sony situation impact GTA sales because of console for now? No. GTA is going to sell regardless of what happens. Like, nothing will affect GTA sales. It's just reached that level of critical mass. There's nothing that could happen. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. A news could come out tomorrow, and this is just like a super... hypothetical. This will never happen, and I'm not trying to say anything by saying this. I'm just creating a hypothetical scenario so that people understand just the scale on which GTA is popular. But basically, tomorrow you could get the news that every single person in Rockstar is like a Nazi, a racist, or whatever, and it would not impact the sales of GTA 6, not even by 0.1%. Okay? Just to give you an idea. And again, like I said, I'm not making any implications. I'm not saying anything. This is just to show you the scale of how much nothing that happens is going to influence how much GTA 6 is going to sell. The music in this is really good. Boom. And now we bring in Bahamut to seal the deal. Oh no, it's not Bahamut, it's Excavalion. Even better. Personally, I just hate that GTA will become the new norm of prices for video games. Like I've been saying for the longest times, I think that what we're going to be seeing is the double A's are going to be taking a lot of the business of triple A's. 100%. Wait, then when do we change to Japanese? We've been doing Japanese nonstop. Yeah, Fighting Cowboy, I just signed up. People called it to my attention earlier. So yeah, we just signed up. I just signed up, dude. I'm already in there. Just noticed the dialogue was in Japanese instead of English. Yeah, we've been in Japanese for a hot minute. All right. I'm hoping we get in, Cowboy. That would be really nice. We definitely need to get some matches in for that. Although, kind of sucks. If you notice that thing basically is coming out right on top of Mortal Shell 2. But then again, you're probably going to get early access to Mortal Shell 2. Who's doing that one? Is it 505? I forget. Who's publishing that? I need to get on that. Will have Mortal Shell 2. I mean, you will. I don't know about me, but also I'm not going to be here for those weeks, though. That's the other thing. That's the week that I'm going off and doing my World Kill Team tournament. I will be needing it, Cowboy, for sure. I'll take you up on that. But yeah, I'm not going to be here for those earlier weeks, though, which kind of sucks. Depends on when they release it, but yeah, I'm going to be away for like a full week. Any idea if the test can be streamed? I believe it should. I don't see why it wouldn't. At least I didn't see anything in the conditions where I signed over my soul to. I don't think I've seen anything that said that I couldn't do it. Duskbloods has a no stream rule in place. Oh! Interesting. Okay, so you can't stream it. But Every Soul's also had the same thing and no one cared. I mean, yeah, whenever you're doing something that is open to the public, footage is going to get out there. Unless you're only doing creators or something like that, then you might be able to get away with it. But usually if it's open to the general public, somebody's going to stream it. But yeah, this was the two bosses. Then we got to talk about, finally, we got to talk about the Sony situation. So there's a lot to talk about when it comes to this. I'm actually going to need to sit down for this one.
If only I could be so grossly incandescent.
Ricard, thank you very much for being gross guest for 30 months. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Thank you. Oh yeah, I also meant to grab something else. Let me put something here. What the hell? Why does this not work? Dustblood is going to be my first pass on a Souls game, not getting a Switch 2. I already have the Switch 2. I bought it when it was in promotion because I knew it was only going to increase in price. Everything's going to be increasing in price, so it is what it is. I have no idea, Necro Eyes, but we do have Discord where I always send the notifications. Okay, give me just a quick second because my kids are being too rowdy and they're going to make a hell of a noise if I'm not careful. Yeah, I signed up to the Duskbloods network test. Okay, so for those of you that aren't aware, Sony made an announcement a while ago. This was at the beginning of July. I think it was like the 1st of July, where they basically said that starting in January 2028, they're going to completely stop production on physical video games, on physical media, on discs. No more discs. Which likely indicates that the PlayStation 6 is not going to have a disk drive, even though we don't know. That hasn't been officially confirmed, but it wouldn't make sense for it to have a disk drive if they're not going to be making discs for it. It just feels like it would be a waste to actually have a disk drive in that unit, which then causes us to question, are they going to support backwards compatibility? Is that a thing that we're going to be having? Or is it everything just going to be digital, even backwards compatibility? What happens to people that have a bunch of discs for the PlayStation 5? We don't really know. Everything is kind of like left up in the air. But there's a lot of reasons why having physical media is extremely important. One of those is like there's a lot of games that eventually get delisted from stores. And there's no other way to get them other than having a disc of those games. There's tons of those, by the way. There's like at least hundreds of examples that you have of that. Not to mention that in the same day that they've made this post, they also announced that they were going to be closing down the digital stores of PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita. Those are pretty much gone. I've heard reports from users that had their licenses revoked. I haven't logged into my Vita to see if that is a thing or not, but I have all the games that I care about already downloaded onto my Vita. But it does suck that they've mentioned that you will be able to download those games for the foreseeable future, but you don't actually know if that is going to be a thing or not. Since then, people have naturally been talking about this situation, and Sony had released something saying like, only 85% of, most of our sales, like 85% of our sales are actually digital or something along those lines. They've mentioned this in a post somewhere. But apparently they clumped up all of those digital sales in the form of like anything that is a free-to-play game that you download, anything that is a game that maybe only released with the digital version, it had no physical version, anything that is a fucking skin, free microtransaction, like, or a paid microtransaction, like pretty much anything that is a digital download. They clumped all of that together and then compared it to physical releases, which, as you can imagine, like, some games have literally hundreds of microtransactions. And when you clump all that shit up, then like one single video game you can be comparing the sales of all the microtransactions of one game to the sales of one physical video game, which just doesn't make any sense. It's data that just doesn't make any fucking sense. That's the data that they had released. And we're going to be talking about that because there's actually a really good article that talks about it, which, if I'm not mistaken, is this one. Yeah, it's this one. There's a really good article here that talks about that, so we're going to be talking about that. But this week, we had Matt Piscatella from Circana saying 2 PlayStation video games sold more than 10,000 physical units in the US during the week ending July 11th, 2026, and 7 have sold more than 100,000 physical units year to date. Now, the interesting thing about this is that this is just information that you can't really do much with. You know, you look at this information like, oh, this looks so bad. You know, physical must be in real dire straits. It's like, okay, which 7 video games were these? And what were their digital sales? Were there 100,000, 101,000, 600,000, 10 million? We don't know. We know that 7 of them have sold more than 100,000 physical units. It's like this data just means fuck all. It means nothing because you don't know what numbers are we talking about, what video games are we talking about, how do they sell digitally, which will be more. It will 100% be more, but it would be interesting to know how much more, which is always interesting. But you know, that's just the way that it goes. That's just the way that it goes. He just released this information, and to me, what I've mentioned is that this is just fanning the flames, because like there's kind of like a fight going on right now online where people are mad at Sony, justifiably so. I'm pissed off at Sony because I don't want them to just cut down on like physical media. And another thing that people like to say, I've seen a lot of these people saying, it's about time you dinosaurs get screwed, yada yada. There's been a lot of this back and forth online, and people are like, y'all are LARPing, you don't even buy physical video games. And it's like, brother, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean we don't buy physical games? It's like, wait, no, what do you mean? More. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Look, I have games here from the fucking Wii U. From the Wii U, brother! Like, what do you mean we don't buy physical games? Oh, wait! There's more! What do you mean? Look at this! Like, what do you mean? It's funny. It's funny seeing people going like, people don't even buy these games. And by the way, here's an interesting little thing that I like to bring up when I talk about this. You see this? This is Monster Hunter World for PlayStation 4. And this is currently, as far as I'm aware, the only way to experience Monster Hunter World the way that it originally came out. You cannot get the experience of base Monster Hunter World anymore. It is unachievable. And the reason why is because ever since Iceborne came out, they patched the game to include Clagger, as well as a couple of other mechanics. And they've changed the difficulty and, you know, the difficulty curve and all of that stuff. They've changed a bunch of stuff. And when you download the digital version of Monster Hunter World, it comes with all of these things already applied. So the only thing that actually, you know, it's either this or the Xbox version. The only way to actually experience what world was like at release is this. This is another thing that makes physical media very important, so that you have like a snapshot of what these games were like when they released. You know, it is what it is. Other YouTubers lovingly displaying their games, Ruri keeps them in grocery bags. I moved in last year and I don't have the time, brother. I don't have the time to get like nice shelves and put everything nice and neat. You guys know what it's like. It's crazy in here. I barely can get the time to do my work. But yeah, it's like, I think that physical media is extremely important. These people, for whatever reason, they keep coming up with these numbers and all of this stuff. But another very important thing is, he says, only 7 of these games have sold more than 100,000 physical units year to date. So if we go to Does It Play, I don't know if Does It Play has every game that has come out this year, or if it's only like, you know, a couple of games, because I do know that the Does It Play database, you know, it's very hard for them to cover every single game that comes out. But of these games that have come out, let me actually reduce the size of the window a little bit here. Oh, I was looking at some Kill Team stuff. Pay no attention to that. Of every single game that has come out, we have how many releases in here? 44. 44 releases that they've documented from 2026. And out of those, when you get to number... Download required, no yellow. I don't know what this no yellow is. Let me see here. Download required, minor content missing, or a lot of bugs present with the patch. Recommended, more details below. So anyways, the point being is, when you get to number 22, you start getting to a point where these physical releases are not really in the best state for a collector. Because any collector will tell you this, like, if they want a physical version of a video game, they want a video game like this that's going to work. Like, if I put this onto my PlayStation 4, this game will work. It doesn't need an internet connection, doesn't need Sony servers, it doesn't need anything. You plug this into a PlayStation 4 and it works. And that's what most of us that enjoy physical media want. We want a product that works. We don't want a product like, for instance, one of the games that came out this year, even though it's a game that I really, really like, and I've done some coverage of it on the channel, and I have an absolute blast every time I play that game, it's Crimson Desert. Like, that game is awesome, but the physical edition of that game is basically a glorified coaster. It's just a coaster because it requires a download. And without the download, the game doesn't actually work. And whenever you have physical versions like that, most people will not buy them. The reason they don't buy them is because, you know, it doesn't make sense. It's not going to work whenever the servers go down. So why would you need that physical version? That's the problem. And so a lot of the games released this year also don't really have, you know, that functionality of being able to play when the servers go down. So people don't buy them. So that's another thing that also influences this little post here. But on top of it, we also have this article here from CNBC. And this one actually goes really in depth into a lot of the things. Not everything, but it goes really in depth. So we're going to go over this. Key points. 2013, Sony mocked Xbox by showing how easy it was to share a PlayStation disc. More than a decade later, gamers say Sony is becoming the very thing it poked fun at. Absolutely. It absolutely is. Sony's decision to stop producing physical discs for new PlayStation games starting in 2028 could save costs and boost digital profits, but analysts say consumers will lose the ability to trade, lend, resell, or truly own games. I don't even know if they bring it up in this article, but there's also another thing that's important to bring up, which I don't know if you guys remember during the Helldivers 2 debacle, where when Sony decided, like, everybody needs a PSN account to be able to play Helldivers, fuck you, too bad, yada, yada, yada. And people were like, no, we don't want that. But that was not all. A lot of people were simply not able to create a PlayStation account because there's a lot of places in the world where PlayStation Network is quite simply not supported. And for those people, you just don't get to play those games anymore. Because if your country is not officially supported by PSN, then you can't create a PSN account. If you can't create a PSN account, then you can't have digital video games, because every single digital video game needs to be associated with a PSN account. And there's a lot of countries don't have those. So those countries now, they don't get to play PlayStation anymore. It's gone. Anyway, some decisions stop producing physical discs. Could save costs and boost digital profits. Not could save, that was their whole objective, yeah. But analysts say consumers will lose the ability to trade, lend, sell, resell. The move could deal a major blow to the global secondhand gaming market, estimated to cost about $7 billion. This is another thing that a lot of the digital-only folks that constantly, for some reason go to bat for Sony, this is something that they're missing out on. What about the people that can't afford these games when they release? A lot of times people get these games secondhand. In the secondhand market, and that's the way that they're able to experience video games. And then they also get to trade those games back in, and somebody else will get to enjoy them later down the line, and they get more money that lets them buy potentially a new game. This is a whole market that's just going the way of the dodo because Sony just wants to have an absolute monopoly on their bullshit. But let's go ahead and do it some more. Let's go ahead and talk some more about all of this stuff. June 2013. This is the ad. The funny thing is, I always like to bring this up. It's not really relevant, but I was there in the showcase when they showed this ad. I was like, yeah, fucking give it to him. It was really cool, but yeah. Trade in game or retail, sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, or keep it forever. Then President and CEO of Sony Computer Entertainment America, Jack Tretton, said at a conference that same year, when a gamer buys a PS4 disc, they have the rights to use that copy of the game. Line sparked standing ovation and helped intensify the backlash that led Xbox to roll back its restrictive policies. Wait, does this have the actual timestamp? No, it doesn't. It just shows the whole thing. Yeah, I was in the audience during this show. Adam Sessler was there as well, because I remember I ran into Adam Sessler on my way out. But yeah, now in the eyes of some, Sony is becoming the very villain it mocked. PlayStation has announced it will end physical disc productions for new games released in its console starting in January 2028, making new releases digital only. Box retail versions, if they are sold, will contain a download code rather than a disc. One of the first games that will use this model is reportedly Take-Two Interactive's highly anticipated Grand Theft Auto 6, which, like I've said, this is a move that definitely emboldened PlayStation, or maybe they were in on it. Maybe Rockstar knew that PlayStation was doing what they're going to do, and they just decided, okay, let's just speed things along and get it done. I don't know. The economics are in Sony's favor. By selling more games digitally, the company has less need to manufacture physical boxes, so that's a cut in cost, and physical discs are eliminated completely, improving profit margins. Not to mention that basically whenever you want to buy a video game, you have to basically go to Sony. But the important thing is they effectively get to have a monopoly, which they kind of already have a big monopoly, but they get an even bigger monopoly on the whole thing. And on top of it, you'd be thinking, okay, so if they're cutting costs, they're going to pass those savings on to us, right? Right? No. You get nothing. You lose. That's it. That's it. Because the other thing that I always find interesting is, I know that most of you will likely have seen on social media, but another thing that I always find interesting is for the people that are constantly pushing the digital future. No, we're gonna go all digital, fuck physical, we don't care, yada yada yada. They seem to forget that moment where, like, you can go on Amazon and buy certain PlayStation games at a discount right now for like $30 or whatever. I think some of the examples that we've seen were like God of War and whatnot being sold for $20-something. And then you go to the actual PSN network and those games are being sold full price. Yeah, you're not going to be getting as many discounts, 100%. You're not getting as many discounts anymore if this goes through, but it is what it is. Michael Pachter, managing director of strategic planning at Wedbush Securities, told CNBC that the move will save Sony a bit of money. A bit of money? Only a couple of $1 billion here and there. Not too biggie. But there can be no question that the consumer pays the tax in terms of less optionality. Less optionality and worse prices. A disc can be resold, traded in, lent to a friend, given as a gift, kept on shelf, or preserved after a storefront shuts down. A download code cannot do any of that. Without physical discs, gamers lose the ability to buy cheaper used games or recoup money from games they have finished. The change will give Sony a tighter grip on where games are sold, when they are discounted, and how long consumers can access them. This is a truly ironic turn of events, Kazunori Hito, director of equity research at Morningstar, told CNBC. Sony won goodwill in 2013 by presenting physical discs as the simple, consumer-friendly option, he said. On YouTube, gamers resurfaced Sony's old clips with bitter comments. This is like watching the wedding video after the divorce, one wrote. Oh, How the Mighty Have Fallen, wrote another. Existing physical games and titles released on disc before the cutoff will not be affected. This is an extremely anti-consumer decision that has no legitimate justification and communicates a disdain for players in their ecosystem, Michael Futter, founder of video game industry consultancy F Squared, told CNBC. For Futter, the issue is that consoles are closed ecosystems controlled by the platform holder. On PC, players can buy games through other marketplaces like Steam or the Epic Game Store. Sony would love for us to believe that the PC market's shift to digital is the exact same thing as consoles going down that path. It simply isn't. And by the way, in case you guys don't understand what this means, it's basically because of there's multiple storefronts that you can have on PC. They mention here Steam and Epic Game Store. You also have GOG. You also have the EA Game Store for whatever good that is. And you have the Ubisoft Store. And I'm sure there's more that I'm not even remembering. But yeah, you have a ton of marketplaces on the PC side of things. So Steam can't really get... Even though Steam has a de facto monopoly, which for those of you that don't know what that means, it's a monopoly that is decided by market than necessarily like an actual monopoly, but it is a de facto monopoly for all intents and purposes because most PC gamers want to get it as much as they can on Steam as opposed to getting it anywhere else, but there is competition there. There's some competition there in the form of Epic Game Store, GOG, Ubisoft, Ubiplay, whatever it's called, EA, and there's a couple of other ones that I'm missing out on right now, whereas in consoles, there's none of that. When you don't have physical media anymore, there's one place you buy your games from, and that's the PSN store, and nowhere else. There's an important difference in players accepting that shift because they see value in it, having it effectively forced on them by taking away the alternative. Renix, thank you very much, being Grossgadesson for 25 months as a Longbeard. You Giga Chad, tip of the hat, appreciate support, thank you. I remember after finally saving enough to buy my 360 almost 4 years after launch, I bought 10 physical games at $10 or less each, some new, other used, but in good condition. Not anymore. Nope, that's not going to happen anymore. It's done. Sony and PlayStation did not respond to CNBC's queries for comment. Sony and PlayStation have not been responding to anything because if you actually go to the X account of Sony, pretty much everything that they've posted since this has been absolutely ratioed. Let me just look up here. PlayStation. Let's see if they've managed to climb out of that ratio because it has been 22 days. You would expect that, the people burning everything down would have... Literally the first post. Okay, but this was from June. Sony's pushing an all-digital future without being upfront about its limits. PS5 downloads can't be played from USB, and expanding storage requires an expensive NVMe SSD. Digital games are licenses, not true ownership. Physical discs preserve choice, competition, and ownership. Wait until Lose Lagoon on PS5, August 27th. Let's see. It would sure be a shame if this... Oh, no. Oh, no. And there it is, ratioed still. So 249 likes to 780 something. Let's see what the comment section's looking like on this post that was made before this live stream even started. Oh look, shielding yourselves behind more phone games for 500, 900 console and soon no discs or ownership. What a great platform. No disc, no buy. Let's do it for physical discs. Physical media. Why do gamers hate us? Fuck you, PlayStation. You will not take our rights away. Give us physical discs. Where are the discs? Not going into any lagoons supported or sold by Sony. I want the option to use physical media. I need a walkthrough of your walkback plan of physical discs in 2028. Like, this is literally, I am not joking. This post was put up like literally 25 minutes ago, it said. Okay? Like, they're not getting away from this. Like, look, EA Sports, again, ratioed, 635, 1.4K. FIFA. Okay, you can't ratio FIFA. Okay? You can't, although this was from EA Sports, it's not really from PlayStation, so this is a retweet. It's not an actual PlayStation post, so it doesn't count. Out now on PlayStation Plus. Ratioed into oblivion. 2.7 thousand to 5.2. Play the extraordinary with Marvel games. Ratioed. Okay, this one's not as hardcore ratioed. Still ratioed, though. 6.7 to 7,000. This one's got a community note. The Call of Duty Black Ops one. Sony's pushing an all-digital future, yada, yada, yada. Same usual shenanigans. Ratioed. ratioed. It's just like ratios nonstop. It's ratio city. I'm actually surprised that people have been able to keep this up for so long, because very rarely do you see backlash that lasts this long when the company in question does not react to it. Because usually whenever it comes to backlash online, if people wait it out, they can usually do just fine, and it usually doesn't last this long. So could it be that PlayStation has actually severely underestimated the amount of people that care for physical media? I think that is absolutely correct. I think you have a lot of people that buy both physical and digital, and those people basically just contribute to the ecosystem. And Sony is thinking that this is an either or situation. And they forget that for all the people that are buying both physical and digital, the absolute removal of the physical option, a lot of those people are just not going to buy digital anymore. This is going to fuck up their statistics so goddamn hard. It's going to be absolutely insane. But yeah, resale market decline. Sony's move has direct implications for the second-hand gaming economy. Data Intello estimates the global second-hand game platform market, including pre-owned games, consoles, accessories, and peripherals, was worth $7.2 billion in 2025 and will reach $13.8 billion by 2034. So again, this is another thing that gets influenced by Sony's decision. Realistically, at least 1/3 of games have been sold historically as used, and the games that were sold used also provided currency to the gamer who traded them in as cash to pay for new games, Wedbush's backer said. Brick and mortar game retail is doomed. I don't think it's necessarily doomed. I just think it has an expiration date on it. The reason I say it's not necessarily doomed is because there's still quite a lot of games to be sold, from PlayStation 1 games all the way to PlayStation 5 games, to Xbox games, to Nintendo Switch games. So brick and mortar still has a lot of stuff that is getting sold. As a matter of fact, some of the more valuable items that a lot of these brick and mortar stores will have, if they're actual collectors stores, will usually even be NES cartridges. Like, there's some crazy expensive NES cartridges. So it's like, there's still a ton of physical media to go around. It's just not going to be one of those situations where these stores are going to be selling the latest and greatest video games, which is still a big mover of currency, I would imagine, for a lot of those stores. But there is still, something in there that they're going to be able to work out for the next, 10 years or so at least. So there's still business going out for the next 10 years easily. But after that, yeah, things are going to get a little bit tougher. It's going to become more of a collector's type shop than necessarily like a traditional video game store, which fucking sucks. While older games can still circulate even after disc production ceases, that's not possible with digital ones. Morningstar's Ito expects the second-hand market for games to keep shrinking and eventually disappear. Developers will have less flexibility over discounting than PC platforms, where games can be sold across Steam, Epic Games Store, GOG, and other stores, according to Fodder. Yeah, this is the stuff that I was talking about. However, Sony's defenders might argue the market has changed since 2013. Sony's results for full year 2025 showed that revenue from PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 video games is almost 10 times less than revenue from digital downloads of full games. This is that percentage that I was talking about, where they kind of just cooked the statistics, which we'll talk about. Sony said in this announcement, the decision was a natural direction for Sony Interactive to adapt consumer trends. General preference for digital media significantly outpaces physical discs. Ubisoft, oh, we love them. Executive Philippe Tremblay in 2024 said that gamers should get comfortable with not owning your game. Yeah, exactly. Sony also recently announced that PlayStation Store purchasing on PS3 and PS Vita will close in most countries in July 2027. Separately, over 500 previously purchased movies will be removed from users' PlayStation libraries because of licensing agreements, with Sony's notice making no mention of compensation. So this is when they removed 500 movies that you might have bought. Oh, you bought Terminator 2 for your PlayStation? That's gone. Okay, do I get a refund? No, it's just gone. Just fucking gone, bitch. What? What you gonna do about it? Huh? You ain't doing nothing. Okay? We didn't pay the licensing fee and now it's gone. And fuck you. It's literally just that simple. Stuff that you've purchased, they just took it away. They're going to be able to do the exact same thing with digital video games, but people have this illusion that this will never happen. But now, going a little bit more into this thing where they're saying that like, Sony's results full year 2025 show that revenue of PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 physical games is almost 10 times less than the revenue of digital downloads of full games. This is where I told you guys that basically they're clumping up together all of the data of like DLCs and all of that stuff and putting that up against physical releases. If you actually look at physical releases, and this is from data from the UK, this is from the Game Business. This is a website that went through some of the UK data. This has been verified, but it says here, things are different with PlayStation. However, across Europe in 2023, 55% games sold on PS5 were downloaded, whereas that number jumped to 64% in 2024. Why is this going up? Stop. In 2024. We're only counting games released digital and physically here, not digital-only releases. So in here, they're doing the proper interpretation of things. This is more to do with the types of games released. Some titles are just more digital than others. Online action shooter games tend to do extremely well via download stores. Last year's Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2, for instance, saw over 80% of its UK sales come via digital stores. Why does this thing... Is it because there's a video playing? Can you not? Like, stop pushing me up. There's more to do with for instance, saw over 80% of his and Sony's own Helldivers 2 was over 90% digital. That's different for single-player, story-driven action games or family titles. Let's take 2023, which had an abundance of these games. 45% of Hogwarts Legacy sales, 49% of Assassin's Creed Mirage sales, and 45% of Resident Evil 4 Remake sales were physical in the UK. Meanwhile, Spider-Man 2 was bought more via physical retailers than digital ones. 54% physical. So Spider-Man 2 sold 54% physical copies. This is UK data. 54% physical versus 46% digital. Okay? Although that does include console bundles, whatever. There were fewer big single-player and family games in 2024, but one of the bigger ones that did launch, Astrobot, which if I'm not mistaken won Game of the Year at the Game Awards on PlayStation 5, was 55% physical in the UK and nearly 60% physical across Europe. So in here, in 2024, physical versions of some games were actually outselling digital versions, which is absolutely insane. In other words, that sharp decline in physical game sales is less to do with a shift towards digital and more to do with the release schedule. That's not to say there hasn't been some shift from physical to digital. Of course there was. There has been. We all know it. If we look at the annual sports titles, where we can do some like-for-like comparisons, EA Sports FC was 62% digital in Europe. Again, these are games that often require digital downloads, so having the physical version is quite simply not that valuable. Not to mention that these are annualized video games. So it's like, oh, FIFA 26, FIFA 27, FIFA 28, FIFA 29, FIFA 30. It doesn't really matter. It's not as much of a collector's item as something like, say, an Astrobot or a Spider-Man 2, right? The year before, EA Sports FC was 55% digital, which is by far the biggest shift we've ever seen. Last year's F1 24 was 70% digital in Europe, whereas F1 23 was 69% digital, and WWE 2K24 in Europe was 64% digital, while WWK23 was 61% digital. Note, the newer games all sold fewer games than their predecessors, so we are seeing digital take a larger market share, but it's not quite as dramatic as the headline figure suggests. But even still, you're not talking about a 15% or a 5%, which is another number that I've seen thrown out that people seem to have pulled out of their asses, where they're saying like, oh, all physical sales make up 5% of the entire sales, and I'm just like, where the fuck did you get this number? Out of your ass? Like, what are we talking about? Even so, data shows there's still games that are reliable on box market, Switch games, retro games, kids games, family games, narrative games on PlayStation. They still see a high proportion of their sales come from the traditional retail sector. So all of those, percentages that we've been seeing shown out there and thrown in our faces, most of them don't really take these markets into account. Most of them are clumping data from DLCs, free-to-play games, digital downloads, all of that shit pitched up against physical media releases. Most of them don't even take into account that a lot of games only released digitally and don't actually have a physical counterpart to even compare it to. It's like, well, man, why aren't people buying more physical? Because they didn't release the fucking game, you moron! Because it doesn't fucking exist! crazy. I know, it's a crazy concept. You can't buy something that doesn't fucking exist. Anyway, continuing onwards, still some were wary of what this step could lead to eventually. What's to stop PlayStation from taking the same actions with game we've purchased? Nothing. Ito expressed concern as well. There's an important difference between players accepting that shift because they see value in it and having it effectively forced on them by taking away the alternative, he said. Most of us prefer to make that transition on their own way and at their own pace rather than having it driven by the end of physical discs. It is what it is. And this is absolutely something that Sony, as far as I'm concerned, should not have done. Because I think that, and the thing is, I say they shouldn't have done it even from a business perspective, because what is happening right now is that there's a bunch of C-suite executives that actually don't understand a fucking thing about this market, because there's a ton of those fucking people around, a ton of incompetent fucking morons, which we have seen a ton of those people make decisions over at Sony. Anybody ever heard of a video game called Concord? Anybody ever heard of a video game called Marathon? Anybody ever heard of a video game called Destiny 2, which was canceled recently? Man, those were fantastic fucking decisions from Sony's leadership, man. Really well-informed shit from people that definitely know what the fuck is going on in this industry. Am I right, everybody? Am I right? There's definitely been no absolute backlash from any of that, you know? No. Nothing like that. So these are a bunch of people that have no idea. Now, the reason I say this is going to come back to bite them in the ass is because one of the main reasons to stick to consoles, this is one of the main reasons why I was, if you guys remember, like 2-3 years ago, consoles were my bread and butter when it came to gaming. I always preferred playing things on a console. It was more convenient. I liked the console experience. I liked the ability to actually be able to go into a store and browse physical video games. But 2 years ago, give or take, I've noticed like this is all going to go away. I could see it happening because a lot of the games that I actually wanted to get didn't make sense to get physically because they required a download. I'm not saying that this was every single game. That's not the point that I'm making. I'm saying that a lot of the games that I was interested in did not have the full game on disc. And because of that, I was like, well, what the fuck? If I don't want to buy it like that, if the whole game is not on the disc, what the fuck is the point? I'm just going to buy it on PC then, because at least I have the, you know, the Steam sales and all that bullshit, which is always better than the sales that you get on pretty much any other storefront. So whatever. That's the reason why I made the shift, because I was like, you guys can see the collection I just showed you. I was buying games like every week. Add to my collection. A lot of these I haven't even opened the boxes yet because I just wanted to have them. Like, for instance, this one, I was really excited when I got this one because I was looking for this edition. I couldn't find it anywhere in Portugal. Then eventually I found it. I've never even played the game. I'm excited to eventually play it someday, but I was really excited to get this one for whatever reason. I remember buying it and I was like, oh man, I finally have it. This is great. It's just a collector's. And it just friggin' sucks that we're going to lose all this. We're going to lose it. It is what it is. And then you'd be like, okay, but is anybody doing anything about it? Fucking of course not, bro. The video game industry's trade body doesn't want to talk about digital ownership. Kotaku reached out to ESA, and despite ESA saying that one of their main things is protect consumers, empower and talent, drive innovation, increase creativity, promote digital wellness, and expand the marketplace, it's more like contract the fucking marketplace, expand the marketplace. We're about to lose $7 billion $7 billion market. The $7 billion resale market. We're about to fucking lose that by 2028. What's the ESA doing? Fuck all. You want to know why? Because all the bigwigs over at ESA work for these corporations. All of them do. It's fucking bullshit. But yeah. That's the situation that we're in when it comes to Sony. They lied about the numbers. Well, they didn't lie about the numbers. They tailored the numbers to suit their narrative, which is something that corporations are exceedingly good at doing. It is what it is. I don't fucking like it. I think it's fucking stupid. And I'm still a fan of a lot of PlayStation games. Don't get me wrong. I like Ghost of Tsushima. I like fuckloads of I want to play Wolverine. Like, there's a lot of PlayStation games I'm interested in. I just think it's fucking stupid that they're taking these steps and that they're not really thinking too much about it, because a lot of the mistakes that Sony started doing was when they moved their headquarters over to California. Like closing down fucking Sony Japan, closing down, what was it? The guys who did Wipeout Studio London or Studio Liverpool. I forget exactly who it was, but like they closed that shit down. No, London is the VR guys, I think, right? So it was probably Liverpool, the guys who used to do Wipeout. But like just not supporting the Sony Japan that brought us stuff like fucking Soul Sacrifice, Bloodborne, all of these amazing experiences. They just fucked it up real bad. And now they're lacking the vision to see that the reason why a lot of people own these consoles is because they want to engage in physical media. They want to. But if you're going to take this shit away from them, you're absolutely going to regret it. Because like I said, a lot of the people that are buying digital goods, they're the same people that are buying physical media. And you take the physical media away from them, they're not going to want to buy the digital stuff anymore. And you're going to find out in real time. Because like I said, I'm shocked that the backlash is still going. That a post that was made literally 25 minutes ago on a fucking weekday, it got ratioed in real time in 25 minutes. It was probably ratioed in shorter time, 25 minutes. 25 minutes was just when we got to it. And this is 21 days after they've made the announcement. This isn't going to stop. There's no coming back from this. This is absolutely insane. But you know, it is what it is. I think that there's a significant lack of vision over there. And I think that they're definitely going to regret the decision that they've made with this stuff. But we'll have to see how it evolves. Rurikhan, everybody keeps forgetting that most of the launch AAA games sold out very fast and players have to get it digitally. That was another thing. This year, Resident Evil Requiem, I've heard, sold out everywhere. Resident Evil Requiem straight up sold out and people could not buy the physical version. They had to buy the digital version. There's another game recently where they're the revered edition of Mortal Shell 2. That one also went. Was it Mortal Shell 2? I think it was Mortal Shell 2. That one also instantly sold out. I think that they still have the regular physical versions, but you know, there's a demand for physical media that is straight up not being acknowledged. There's a lot of people that are just burying their heads in the sand just because digital sells more. That does not mean that there's not a significant demand for physical media. It's absolutely insane. Feel like the fact you have to pay extra for a discount drive on a PS5 also skews the number. Yep. I'm a PC-only gamer since the PS5 and Xbox Series X era, but every console game I ever bought was physical. Never once bought a digital console game. I've bought digital console games when physical versions didn't exist, or if the digital version was like grossly discounted. Like for instance, the other day I bought Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning for the Switch because it was like $5. It was like $5. Like, oh, okay. I'll buy it for $5. Sure, whatever. But it's like usually, yeah, I'll buy physical versions of, like I even have somewhere. I bought like Metroid 4 and I haven't even played. I was going to show it to you guys. Yeah, I have Octopath Traveler 2 still in the thing. Still has the wrapping on. Generations Ultimate. Tears of the Kingdom. Oh yeah, friggin' I really want to play this one. This one's an oldie. Tales of Symphonia. Tales of Symphonia, dude. Still in the wrapping. I don't have time to play them. I want to play them, man. Oh, yeah, look at this. Look at this. This one's an oldie. Look at it. The Wii U Xenoblade Chronicles X. Still in the wrapping as well. Collector's items, dude. I think that people don't get it. He's rummaging through his grocery bag display. Stop shaming me! What the fuck? You look like a game hoarder. I am! I absolutely am. I've only ever played console. What would my next option be to ditch my PS5? I won't support them anymore. I have no idea, to be honest, because we don't know if Xbox is going to support discs. And it's very easy to say, well, you have the Nintendo Switch, obviously. The Nintendo Switch is also doing a lot of bullshit with their digital key cards stupidity, which is just like, just make fucking cartridges affordable for people. How about that? Yeah, if you guys didn't know, Gru actually bought me Nier Replicant, because after I finished Nier Automata, I wanted to get Nier Replicant, and you couldn't find it anywhere in Portugal. You just couldn't find it. I have it in here some. Gru, I promise it's in here. I don't know exactly in which one of these bags it is, but it is here. Probably in. See, this right here, Gru bought it from me in the States. And look, it has a disc, and Gru specifically browsed so that he could find one that still has a little booklet. So this one still has a little booklet and everything, bro. You guys remember booklets with instructions? It's fucking crazy, dude. Oh, is the camera reversed? It is reversed, but it's Nier, okay? Trust me. So it's like I have the PS3 version of Nier. What are those booklets? Yeah, we don't have it. We don't have those anymore. PlayStation's still a goated console. I'm a right out gen. I mean, I like the PlayStation console. I like the PlayStation games. I like all of that stuff, but I just think it really sucks what they've decided to do out of nowhere. I remember booklets with lore and character bios and such too. Yeah, that's what this one has. Remember the booklets with mini walkthroughs in there for their SNES games? Yep, exactly. Yeah, and another one that I always like bringing up is like midnight releases. Who misses like a good midnight release? It's funny because the last midnight release I remember going to is either one of the World of Warcraft expansions or StarCraft 2. Which is like, those games are obviously always online, so it's whatever. There's not really a reason to even go pick up a physical version, but we still would go to pick up physical versions of those games for the fucking PC. It didn't even make sense anymore, and we still went and do it. But it was really cool to go to a midnight release because you'd meet a bunch of people that were interested in the same video game that you were interested in. It was a really cool social experience. And nowadays, whenever I talk about midnight releases, I usually just hear somebody say, imagine leaving your home. I don't want to deal with people. It's like, what the fuck? These are supposed to be your people, though. Games that brought manuals, extra discs with documentary of the game, even OST stuff. Yep. Like, the friggin' the Demon Souls version that I bought had an OST. So I have an OST of Demon Souls somewhere. That one I think is back in some of my storage in the office I used to work from. Gaming hasn't been the same without midnight releases. Yeah, agreed. Here in Portugal, Switch 2 launch was the last midnight release I remember. That was a midnight launch for the Switch 2? Damn, I didn't even show up for that. This guy, creator Sohei Nikawa, had a poignant quote recently reported that I saw on Twitter about how out of touch these corpo CEOs are with physical media. It was actually really interesting, you talking about this Gaia team, because here's a very interesting thing. I forget if this was at Gamescom or E3, But I would always visit like the NIS America folks because they used to have a European team. I don't know if they still have a European team because I used to be in touch with those guys. And I would always visit them, check out their games. And at one point, there was like a PR person that was there. And they were super into this Gaia series. Like, they were more into it than I was, absolutely. Like, I enjoyed this guy, don't get me wrong. But I was talking to them, and I was talking about, we got to talking about, like, physical media and all of that stuff. And so the dude was like, okay, so you guys seen the presentation? I forget which this guy was. Might have been this guy at 4. But it was like, okay, you guys have seen the presentation. We're going to send you all digital codes and yada, yada, yada. And I was talking to the guy, and I was like, okay, is there going to be like a physical release as well? And he's like, yeah, there's going to be physical releases for this guy as well. And I was cool. I'm probably going to pick one of those up. So I told the guy from the company that I was going to buy the game no matter what. And so after everybody leaves, he pulls me aside and he just hands me a physical copy of the game instead. Because, like, the people over at NIS America, these are the guys that, the guys behind this Gaia, they're so passionate about the game that they're just, like, excited to share it with everybody. It was just really interesting. Like a little side story that I remember from this Gaia. That guy also had, like, a really cool Vita, because I have a modded Vita. And this guy had a modded Vita. No, it wasn't a modded Vita. I think it was a dev kit or something. Because his Vita had an HDMI out. And I was like, hey, what the fuck? I want one of those. Mine has like a USB bullshit that I have to connect to this stupid app that's annoying as fuck. But, yeah. Midnight releases at Colombo Game. Yeah. I don't think that there's even game stores in Portugal anymore, right? Ray, I play Monster Hunter Frontier on my Vita. I love my Vita. Vita is an amazing console. Vita is a really cool console. I bought it discounted in Portugal. I forget if it was €100 or €150. The first one that I bought was like giga discounted. It was giga discounted. And then I bought like one that I ordered in from Japan with the modded stuff. You still have the game franchise. Yeah, the game franchise exists, but I don't think they exist in Portugal anymore. Do they? I know that we have sex. It's so funny saying that. It's a store called CEX, which we just call it sex shop, but yeah. Anyway, we have some more bad news, team. We have some more bad news. Valve Steam machine engineers say that component cost crisis is still getting worse. In brief, speaking to Bloomberg, 2 Valve engineers working on Steam machines say that memory components crisis is still getting worse. Valve is trying to produce more units after his first wave sold out, but one of the engineers admits we're limited by memory capacity for sure. Valve also didn't want to subsidize the cost of Steam machines to keep the market viable for competitors who want to build similar living room PC systems. Yeah, it doesn't make sense for them to subsidize the Steam machines because it's not guaranteed for them to have 100% of the business. Whereas with PlayStation and Xbox, they can afford to subsidize the console. And what exactly does that mean? It means selling below cost because they're going to make their money back in digital sales in those systems because they have monopoly on the store, essentially. Whereas Steam doesn't have that, and they want to have an open system so that people can still play GOG games on Steam machines and play Epic Store games on Steam machines and all of that. So it doesn't make sense for them to subsidize the console because not all the sales are going to go for them. Even though a large portion of the sales will likely end up going for them. But yeah. Anyways, Valve engineers working on the company's Steam machines say that the memory component crisis is still getting worse and that on-the-shelf prices are lagging behind what we're seeing from bulk supply by at least 3 to 6 months. In June 2026, Valve said that its original goals for the price of Steam Machine were no longer viable due to the increasing costs and ongoing shortage of components. It announced that the entry model with the 512 gigabytes of storage would cost $1,049, like $1,049 for a unit with 512 gigs. I don't even know what the rest of the specs are, but I know they're not great. While the terabyte model would set customers back by 1,300 bones. Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft have also announced or carried out price increases on Switch 2, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series consoles, and they're going to announce more. I promise you, they're going to announce more. As a result of the component crisis, speaking of Bloomberg, engineer Pierre-Luc Griffet says the total cost of all the individual parts for the Steam machines ends up matching pretty closely to the retail price. Honestly, it's still getting worse. Fellow engineer Yazan Aldahit says on component prices. Just in case people are not aware, what people are seeing on retail shelves right now, from our observations lagging behind, we're seeing from bulk supply by at least 3 to 6 months. When Steam machine pre-orders opened on 22nd of June 2026, the limited stock Valve was able to manufacture sold out rapidly, despite the high price and randomized allocations that were designed to discourage scalpers. Valve is now trying to build more units to meet demand, but Griffey says it's still a struggle to get components in. Basically building everything we can get our hands on. We're limited by memory capacity for sure. Aldate also explains why Valve decided not to subsidize the console. Yeah, it's like I said, we want it to still be viable for other hardware manufacturers to offer things like the Steam machine, either with high performance or a different feature set. This is because Steam's already a dominant PC storefront, so more adoption of these kinds of systems, regardless of who manufactures them, will still benefit Valve in the long term. Look at it from a long-term perspective. Someone that is creating one of those PCs might actually create some meaningful innovation that is really important for things to come on PC that becomes so universal and brings the experience forward by that much. Now that the experience is better for everyone, then people will buy more games. Same story with Steam exclusive games or hopeful theories. Nope, not happening. Restricting where people can play a game I don't think is a great model, at least for us. Much more interested in having the whole PC catalog as our launch exclusive. So, yeah. Hardware is going to get worse. That was actually, I remember I put up a tweet recently. I talked more about this. Let me see if I can find it. Because apparently it was... it was this. Adata chairman warns DRAM shortage will last another 10 years. In the next 10 years, the world's scarcest resources will be electricity and memory. Guess why? AI. AI, baby. Oh, man. So good. So friggin' good. We are so absolutely cooked when it comes to hardware. You better make sure that you maintain your PCs, okay? You better make sure of that. You got to make sure that you pet them every day. You got to make sure that you clean them nice. You got to make sure that they're in functioning condition for the foreseeable future, because otherwise you're kind of cooked. Please, my dear PC, will last 20 years. I have 3 PCs in here, actually. I have 3 PCs in here, and it's actually interesting because you always look at PC components, at least I've always looked at PC components as quick devaluing assets. So this is kind of like a different timeline that we're living in, where I could potentially sell my computer right now if I wanted to. I'm not going to, but I could potentially sell it for more than I bought it because of the parts on this bitch. So it's a strange timeline we're living in right now, where your PC parts are actually appreciating in value rather than depreciating. It's really weird, because it used to be like, oh, you bought this GPU last month, it's $100 now. Like, you bought it for like 500, 700 last month. Okay, well, this month it's fucking worthless. They're giving it away for free if you buy like a pack of chips, you know? Now it's the other way around. This is an appreciating thing. It's crazy, dude. This is where I'm not one of those only blaming Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, and Valve for the expensive consoles. That's because they're not the ones to blame. They're not the ones to blame. When it comes to the actual costs of hardware manufacturing, the console manufacturers are not the ones to blame. Correct, Rui. You can make money now selling old parts of a whole computer. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird, dude. It's never happened before. Microsoft and Sony are. Well, I mean, Microsoft is. Never mind. Microsoft is because of AI stuff. Sony, I don't know. Is Sony investing in AI as well? I haven't kept up with that. They might. They did say that I have heard rumors. I'm not sure how accurate they are about the factory that they disassembled, whatever, the factory where they produced physical discs. That factory is going to get repurposed to do some optical lenses, and people were saying that those are getting used in AI data centers. Not sure if that is the case or not, but might be. I don't know. Remember the AI lens factory? Yeah, again, I don't know if those are actually supposed to be used in AI or not. They might. I'm not saying either way. I'm saying I haven't done enough research into that particular topic to know. I did some very preliminary research on it when I was looking for that information, and I came away from it not absolutely being sure. It's like it could be used for AI. There's also a bunch of other uses that it can be used for, so I'm not 100% that is just an AI thing, but it can be used for it. There are no shortages, by the way. They just want to sell it all to AI. Oh yeah, absolutely. There's no shortage of memory that we suddenly got. It's a scarce resource because they just decided that it's more valuable, it's more profitable to sell it to corporations rather than selling it to consumers, which is interesting because we're the ones who actually made a lot of these parts be worth as much as they are. Because a lot of this, good hardware that they're now using in AI, this was stuff that we inflated the price of because we were using it for gaming. That's what made it good. That's what made them want to produce, more powerful hardware. Like I'm going to go ahead and say that gaming boosted the PC industry, the PC hardware industry by a fuckload. We carried this fucking industry. Make no fucking mistake. Gamers carried this industry. You're going to tell me like some fucking CAD guy was like, oh yeah, we need more powerful GPUs. My fucking asshole. No. Gamers hard carried the PC hardware space. Make no fucking mistake. Make no fucking mistake whatsoever with that one. Trust me, this will backfire them. Maybe. Didn't China suit guys said they were going to make their own RAM memory? Yeah, we're going to make our own RAM with blackjack and hookers. Safer, thank you very much for being Rosuke. That's for 30 months. Tip of the hat. Absolutely. Appreciate support. Thank you. Sorry, my brain. No worky. Rory, by the grace of the YouTube algorithm, I came across your Alchemy Gun Lance build. Got you 6 years ago. Hope you have a good day. Thank you. I appreciate that. I loved Alchemy Gun Lance. That thing is a lot of fun. Rory, that is true. Gamers carry PC hardware. We absolutely did. We fucking did. We made those companies successful. Then the investment bankers, shareholders moved in, offering even larger amounts of money. Yeah, of course. It's all. And here's the interesting thing. That's always been the case for gamers. Okay? We build something up. We fucking hard carry it. Somebody else comes in, fucks it up for the rest of us. It's always been the case. It's the same thing if you think about even gaming from a development perspective. The fucking investors came in. What do we start getting? Fucking microtransactions out the ass. Fucking a bazillion live services that make no goddamn fucking sense. It's like, we lost the passion part of the industry. I mean, we lost a portion of the passion part of the industry to these fucking blood-sucking cockroaches from Wall Street, dude. It is disgusting. It is fucking disgusting, dude. Fucking hell. Ugh. Absolutely nasty. But yeah, anyway, shout out for the Longbeards. John Coombs, Mr. CRO, Golf of Fajou, Quirin Das, Eddie Rodan, Nunch Francisco, Athena the Bad, Renix, Necro Eyes, Hookeye, Venom Pure Evil, Really Old Gamer, Worst Wordmonger, Pascal Calais, Mizzen Jamal, Heimdall, Astron R. Age, Fox Lavender, Dr. Eisenhower, Sephiroth77, Sengetsu, Mr. Wipeout, Inquisitor Reed, Jojo Mojo, Draxus K, J. Walco 4, Senior Bacon 87, New Video Nerd, Figster, Cole Brick, Red Pig Bank, Angry Scott's Dad 23, Robert Report Turret, which used to be Shelby Necco. Thank you very much, being Gross Contestant as Longbeards. You Giga Chads, tip of the hat. Appreciate the support. And thank you to all the Iron Breakers. Support the show. I appreciate you guys, each and every one of you. Thank you very much. Now, continuing onwards, we have here Project Awakening, which I'm sure that by now a lot of you guys don't even know what Project Awakening is. So let me just bring this up real quick. Just to kind of like give you guys a reminder of what Project Awakening is. Is there a fucking like official trailer? Oh, there's one from PlayStation Japan. We'll use this one. What's the resolution on this? Yeah. How many of you even remember this game? Let me actually.
The era of unending peace is past. It is now time for we wolves of war to awaken. Affix your eyes forward, lest you overlook the traces. Keep your ear to the ground, lest you lose the trail. We are the shield that shall not break. We are the sword that shall not bend. O God of steel and fury, give us flesh to hunt from blood red.
Project Awakening. So that was just to remind those of you that didn't even remember what Project Awakening is. It is apparently still in development. I guess that a lot of us kind of just assumed that this project, as a lot of other things, just went the way of the dodo. But we've been given a status update on July 8th from Cygames president Koichi Watanabe, who said, Project Awakening, Lost Order, and Garnet Arena Mages of Magic Carry still in development. I don't know about this other one, these other two ones, Lost Order and Garnet Arena, but Project Awakening is one that I've kept my ear to the ground for quite some time. Development on Project Awakening is, of course, steadily progressing. I'm not sure why you would say of course. We hadn't heard about it from so long. Of course would not be the word that I would use, Watanabe said. What I can say at the moment is that it is really starting to take shape. Everyone on the team is working each day with a real sense of confidence that things are coming together. Project Awakening was announced in 2016, this was 10 years ago, and resurfaced as a PlayStation 4 title at PlayStation Lineup Tour 2018. A demo titled Project Awakening Arise was rated in 2019 but never released. The game resurfaced in 2021 as a part of Cygames Tech Conference sessions showcasing the Cylista game engine, and while Cygames hasn't shared anything since, Project Awakening has continued to appear in the game business software outlook of almost all of Cygames' parent company Cyber Agent's quarterly financial presentations. Asked if the world and style of the game, as showcased in the 2018 trailer, has changed at all, Watanabe responded, "If you're asking, is it exactly the same? I'd say it's a little different. The overall direction remains largely the same, but as development has progressed, we've continued polishing it by adding new elements here and there with the thought of, let's add something new like this." And by the way, taking into consideration how well they've managed to I know that it's a very different game, but taking into consideration how well they've managed to do Grand Blue Fantasy Relink and how much I've enjoyed that experience, as well as Endless Ragnarok, I have full confidence in this team to deliver something absolutely amazing with Project Awakening. Funny thing is, these guys are also the ones that did that, I forget what the name of it is, the horse girl racing game. That's them. That's these guys, Side Games. On the topic of Lost Order, which was also announced in 2016, Watanabe said this one's also deep in development and is now entering the final stretch. Watanabe then showcased some new footage of Lost Order to Weekly Famitsu, which impressed Famitsu with its astonishing quality, adding that it's a bit unbelievable that this is possible on a smartphone app. So that's a mobile game. We've rebuilt everything from the scratch since closed beta test. This is for that mobile game we're not super interested. And then, as for the 2021 announced Garnet Arena Mages of Magicary, produced by Kenichiro Takati, Watanabe said development of that one is moving forward as well. I think we'll be able to deliver something unlike other titles. It's one of the major titles we're developing, and I think we'll also be able to announce something in due time. New footage for both Project Awakening and Garnet Arena. Wait, there's been new footage? With Weekly Famitsu, while discussing the company's larger scale projects, he also said that Cygames has been able to take on fairly new gameplay challenges with them. I need to look up this Famitsu article if they have it. Unless it's just in, a Japanese magazine. I can't get to it, but I need to look at it because I'm super excited for Project Awakening. I think it's going to be absolutely phenomenal, but we'll have to see. But that's actually good news for a change. How about that? We actually got some friggin' good news. That's crazy. Uma Musume, yeah. They also did a Princess Connect. Yep. Ruri is a huge Uma fan. He just doesn't admit it. Absolutely. Love it. Every day. Dude, Ruri, I'm so done with buying games on PlayStation that I bought Base Dragon's Dogma 2 again on PC so I can play the Dark Arisen expansion. Bro, I hope you have a good PC because the game looks absolutely phenomenal if you have good hardware. And I'm looking forward to the Dark Arisen expansion as well. Bit unrelated, Monster Hunter World sold over 30 million copies worldwide according to an announcement on Steam. Yeah, I know. It's really, really good. Will it release in a physical disc, though? I don't know. Depends on whether or not it releases before 2028, I guess. Because if it releases after 2028, then no. The answer is no. Already seen this one. I need a quick break before we move on to the next segment, so I'll be right back. If you guys are enjoying the stream, do hit that like button. It helps out immensely. A minute. Eating my apple, man. Yeah, McKay, that was actually part of the reason why I also made the
If
switch.
only
I don't
I
want to be
could be so
paying for
grossly
PlayStation Plus.
incandescent.
Luis! Thank you very much for being gross incandescent for 25 months as a thing! You absolute Giga Chad. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Thank you. YouTube just buffered and you said eating my apple. Eating an apple. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. You guys remember the apple fritters conversation we had about Endless Ragnarok? That's so funny. Rory, I bought Dragon's Dogma. Will the base game change a lot with DLC? Is it worth the wait? Yes. From what I've seen so far, I think it might actually be the best experience might be to play it with the DLC. Rory, will you revisit Palworld? Right now, I don't have the time. Otherwise, I would. But right now, I don't have the time to do it. Activity. When you're young, you don't even feel it. When you start getting old like me, get to your 44s, you're going to start feeling it. Strangely enough, I'm also in my best physical condition I've ever been in my life. Because I started working out like 2 years ago. Just curious, Rui, when you say Ark is an island boy, is he actually from an island of the shore of Portugal? Is he from Brazil? I noticed that Victor said he lives in the UK, so that's why the island boy thing is. No, you're wrong. Actually, what the prospect says is correct. He actually grew up in one of the islands of Portugal. He grew up in Madeira. That's why he's got a big, thick accent. He's got an actual strange accent because I believe he was born in Brazil, but then he moved to this Madeira island in Portugal. That's why I call him the island boy. So he has the Brazilian accent, and then he has the Madeira accent. So when this motherfucker speaks Portuguese, like most people that are not fluent Portuguese speakers would just straight up not understand him. I also start working out. I want to play more games. I need more time. Yeah, dude. The Madeirense accent is kind of like encrypted Portuguese. That is so true, though. That is so incredibly true. The Madeirense accent is encrypted Portuguese. I'd never heard that one before. I'm a copy paste that one. Wait. I'm gonna send that one straight to Arc. Si yo hablo español, pero mira que hablo un poquito, pero solamente un poquito. That's a yes, but only a little. the name Greg, it's not really different dialect. It's just accents. Ruri speaking Espanol is a curse to my ears. What the fuck? Last time I was in Spain, I was complimented for my good Spanish. You need to understand, last time I was in Spain, one of the people there literally said, "Pero mira que este es de Badajoz." Basically saying that I'm from a certain region of Spain. Ruri can butcher many language. Pero no, que yo hablo español, sí. Pero ¿por qué me hablas así, ah? ¿Qué pasa? Speaking French is the curse. Tu n'aimes pas le français? Qu'est-ce qui se passe, mon ami? Tu es pas bien? Tu n'aimes pas Expedition 33? Tu n'aimes pas ça? What? Wait, I shouldn't have said Expedition 33. That's so fucking stupid. Expedition 33? See, because the French, when they start counting, they get fucked up in the head, okay? See, somebody when they were inventing the French language, they just got tired of counting and they just said, okay, so for this next number, it's 4 times 20. Yeah, it's just 80. 80, motherfucker. It's 4 times. I don't even know if it's 4 times 20. I think it is, because that's literally what it translates to. 80. It's 4 times 20. Rather than saying 80, they just say 80. 4 times 20. What part can you not understand? Yeah. And 90 is 4 times 20 plus 10. It's 90. 90. 90 is fucking crazy, dude. If you literally translate 90, people will be like, what is wrong with the French people, man? Where do you guys get off naming numbers like this? Does Portugal sound like Spanish dialect in westmost area? No. Portugal sounds like Portuguese. How many languages do you speak? Portuguese and English. Those are like the 2 big ones. Everything else is like secondary. But I would say, by order of comfort, English. Strangely enough, I'm more comfortable speaking in English than in Portuguese at this point in my life. Despite the fact that I've lived in Portugal my whole life, I feel more comfortable speaking in English. With the exception of the additional strain that I put on my throat for when I'm live streaming. It's actually annoying. But English, Portuguese, Spanish, and French, I guess. English, Portuguese, Spanish, French. Trader, sure. Camões will haunt you for this. He will. Poor Camões rolling around in his grave. Okay. So for this next one, we're going to be going over some Beast of Reincarnation stuff that I haven't seen yet. So we have a combat overview here. Let's have a look. Belly flop? Ugh. Ugly ravens. He took Doggo!
Beast of Reincarnation.
You can't
Two
take Doggo.
characters, one battle. Beast of Reincarnation is a unique action RPG combining intense real-time combat with deliberate strategy.
Oh,
Today,
okay. It's got a
we're showing you
turn-based thing.
exactly how combat works, from single enemies to colossal boss encounters.
Kind of like
Let's
Final
begin.
Fantasy VII Remake.
The enemy has 2 main gauges. The top bar represents their health.
Yeah.
Wipe it out to take them down. The bottom bar is the down gauge. Fill it completely to create
So
an
it's a
opening
parry gauge.
for a final takedown.
Stagger gauge, whatever you want to call
When
it.
taking on an enemy, Parrying their attack is key.
Look at this LSRS. Seems like some type of Spartan Rage thing.
If you time it just right, you won't take on any damage. Each time you parry an attack, the
So it's
FP
kinda like
gauge
Sekiro.
in the lower right corner of the screen fills up. Parries restore your FP, which is the source of Ku's power. Once your FP is full, select Bloom Art.
Oh,
Time
okay.
slows down while you're making a selection, allowing you to carefully
And then there's a quick time event.
consider your choice. When a special attack is successfully executed, the enemy's stun gauge fills up significantly. This gives us the ability for the one-hit finish. Next up is a team.
So this is clearly inspired by Sekiro, except it also brings some turn-based stuff into it.
Even when surrounded by enemies, what we have to do remains the same. Here, we select Higanbana, Roots, a technique that can restrain up to 3 targets simultaneously. The enemy's movements have stopped. Ku initiates the attack, and Emma finishes them off. This coordination between the two of them is fundamental to team battles.
It's like a lot of quick time stuff. I don't see anything turn-based. This the slow-mo selection of actions. That's what I'm saying. It's like whenever you slow down time, like here, right? This kind of feels almost like a turn-based type of thing. Slows down time.
Roots, a technique
Then you
that
choose
can
the
restrain
thing,
up to 3 targets
then shoot it.
simultaneously. The enemy's movements have stopped. Ku initiates the attack, and Emma finishes them off. This coordination between the two of them is fundamental to team battles. Each area features a powerful boss enemy. These enemies are huge, and their attacks are powerful. Even their heavy blows can be deflected if the timing is right. When facing tough opponents, the slow motion when selecting a special move becomes especially important. By observing the enemy's preparatory movements, you can predict their next action. The FP is full. What should you choose now? You can deal damage by exploiting their weakness. Can you cancel a big move with binding roots? Should we try to corner them with status effects? Let's use a Bloom Art. And just like that, defeated. Once a boss is defeated, Emma absorbs its power, and a new Bloom Art is awakened within Ku. By using the SP earned during their adventures, you can also learn new techniques for Emma from the skill tree. As your skills increase, the range of follow-up attacks will broaden. New area. The enemies will be tougher. This time, you'll be using the new technique, Sakura, Javelin, that you obtained from defeating the previous boss. After upgrading in the skill tree, Emma finishes them off with her new earned ability, Helm Splitter.
I know I didn't hear that right. Say that again.
Them off with her new earned ability, Helm Splitter.
Fucking seriously? Everywhere? Is this my life? I guess this is my life. This is just my life. Elm Splitter. Where's my Wyvern Fire? Oh, you don't have that
Skill
one.
tree. Emma finishes them off with her new earned ability, Helm Splitter. Will you stop the enemy with binding roots? Or will you charge in yourself with a Sakura javelin? The thrill of real-time action
curious to see
meets
how
the
it
tactical
plays.
depth of command-based selections in a single seamless combat system. As the skill tree expands, endless combinations and opportunities for experimentation unlock. Find the synergy that suits you and build your ideal playstyle. From developer Game Freak, Beast of Reincarnation launches August 4th. Pre-order now and get a special bonus. Wishlist today.
Wishlist today. Oh, look, it's us. Oops. I'm curious. I'm curious to see how it actually plays. There's been a preview that's gone out from IGN. We're gonna be checking that out real quick.
It's 2,000 years into the future with barely any semblance of humanity other than the robots they created and perhaps a few survivors who've scraped by in a post-apocalypse. A blight has swept the overgrown land, and living creatures have gone feral with a zombie-like virus where tree roots sprout from their bodies and make them hostile. But Emma, she's a little different. She's the protagonist in Beast of Reincarnation and is able to wield this virus as a superpower where her hair can create platforms to jump off, boost her into the air, and attack her enemies. And
Damn.
with her rescued pet wolf Ku, you have a Final Fantasy VII Remake-like RPG element to complement the fast Sekiro-esque action. What
So
this all
it's
told
Sekiro
me in the
meets
hour and a
Final
half long
Fantasy VII
demo I
Remake.
played is that developer Game Freak is shooting for something bigger, more ambitious, and simply different from anything it's previously made. It's drawing from
Yeah, it makes you wonder why exactly don't the Pokemon games innovate if Game Freak is capable of doing shit like this.
several games we've seen before and piecing them together in its own way while setting up a story that touches on embracing our humanity. And now that I've played it, Beast of Reincarnation feels like Game Freak's best opportunity to break out of Pokemon's shadow.
Yep.
The story starts off with a bang, establishing its science fantasy contrast as Emma vows to protect a little girl named Kagura who's recovering in their de facto headquarters, which is an AT-AT looking walker. She jumps out donning her samurai sword and a Ronin-inspired fit, and the precious boy Ku follows her, all while an orchestral tune with dramatic choir vocals build an atmosphere that veers so close to Nier Automata that I couldn't shake the comparison. In similar fashion to the Yoko Taro classic, you're dropped into a war zone as the tutorial mission. Missiles drop from the sky, blighted creatures are on the attack, and robots fight alongside you as you learn how Beast of Reincarnation's fast-paced action works. Timing parries and Emma's fancy blade art special attacks, along with commanding Ku as if he was a Pokemon himself, I quickly saw how this game's combat system is both easy to pick up and incredibly fun to engage with. Once a tutorial ends, a cutscene drops some lore that hints at how humanity destroyed its own world, and the broken machines you see rusting away in the overgrown environment are the results of its own corruption. But there's hope in a place called Oguchi, which is where Emma is headed as you're dropped into the first open region. This isn't
Definitely
necessarily an
This is definitely inspired by Nier Automata. I see so many different inspirations from Nier Automata in this, just from the little bit we've seen so far. But it also seems to take some inspiration from Wild Heart's aesthetics. It's like an amalgamation of a lot of things. So you have the Final Fantasy VII Remake type of combat system mixed together with the Sekiro parry combat system. And then a lot of inspiration from Nier Automata for themes. And although, you know, this could have been something that maybe is not influenced by all the things that I'm seeing, but it definitely looks that way.
which is where Emma is headed as you're dropped into the first open region. This isn't necessarily an open world game, but the folks from publisher Fictions explained to me that there are several open regions that you'll explore as the story goes on. They aren't exactly interconnected, and the story will push you through these regions with little opportunity to return once
No
you're
fall
past
damage.
them, giving the impression that it's going to be a little bit more straightforward than its map would imply. It's estimated to be about 30 to 40 hours for an earnest full playthrough, so it doesn't appear that this format limits its scope. While you won't be racking up side quests to fill up a quest log since it's not that kind of game, there's still
Good.
lots to find off the beaten path with gear and upgrade materials, but for the most part, I stuck to the main quest to see as much of this story as I could and really test its combat system. Normal enemies didn't give me much trouble since parry timing is quite generous. Even as it evokes the pacing and rhythm of a Sekiro or Nioh, it won't be nearly as hard, at least that's my initial impression. Still, recognizing attack patterns and knowing when to dodge or to be aggressive with parries are key to controlling Emma and creating windows for blade arts or gruesome finishers. And thankfully, the controls are swift and responsive as any decent action game requires.
The sounds sound good. I like
But Ku
those.
is a vital part of the mix, and he's how this game leans into the RPG realm a bit more. Time stops when you pull up his command menu, giving you a chance to be more tactical and cast spells that can complement Emma's melee prowess. Ku's spellcasting works similar to FF7 Remake's ATB system, where you build up points during the action to then spend on casting his abilities, and when you do, there's a little QTE prompt to amplify his effectiveness. In the demo, I could have him cast fireballs and inflict burn status, sprout a tree for me to launch up to, or blast tree roots to bind multiple enemies at once. Weaving these in like they're part of an attack rotation showed me that there's potential depth to Beast of Reincarnation outside of playing it straight like a tough action game.
Is that a bonfire?
There's a lot to dig into with the skill trees for both Emma and Ku, and since they share the same pool of skill points, I suspect there'll be a sense of build crafting, or at least ways to emphasize the parts of combat you like most. The Fictions rep explained to me that progression was built in a way that would support a Ku-centric playstyle for those who aren't as in tune with action combat, and vice versa. For me, I like a good mix of both since I think they work extremely well in tandem, especially in challenging boss fights where difficulty seems to ramp up. The big boss battle in this demo was against a monstrous stag, and it's in this fight where Beast of Reincarnation's systems started to interlock clearly. It was hanging out in a river basin below, so I used Emma's hair as a platform to get the jump on it with a leaping aerial strike to start the battle with the upper hand. From there, my primary plan of attack was to
Starting a battle with like a visceral attack like that is such a Sekiro thing to do. Like straight up, I would always do those in Sekiro whenever I had a chance. I'm like, oh, you mean I can go through the roof here and stab that guy in the face before we even start fighting? Fuck yeah, I'm gonna do it.
nail down the parry timing of its antler swings and read its animations carefully. And with each successful parry and sword strike, I would dwindle its stagger meter. Simultaneously, Ku would be able to bind it for a brief moment so I could get a few more swings in, or help me chip away at its health with fireballs. This boss is also physically towering, and sometimes the camera has trouble locking onto a much bigger target, especially when backed into a corner. So having Ku's tree sprout up as a grapple point helped me reset and get away from the boss. Eventually it'll start dashing around the arena, letting me use the long-range bow to pluck away at more of its health before bracing for another round of parries. So based on what I've played so far, I think Beast of Reincarnation blends its traversal mechanics, RPG elements, and hard action foundation into a singular flowing combat system. And while I don't think any one of those parts are particularly outstanding on their own, it's the smart confluence of all three that make it stand out in a sea of Souls-ish action games that try drawing from the same core design principles. What I'm looking forward to now is how it's going to evolve as the story goes on, and how boss fights further along will challenge me in increasingly interesting ways. However, it's not necessarily the action that's going to completely win me over with Beast of Reincarnation. This is also Game Freak's chance to show its chops as storytellers. Say what you want about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but seldom have I seen a game elevate its story to completely unpredictable heights in its final hours like that. Of course, different folks work on various projects within development studios, but it tells me that Game Freak has that potential within.
Damn.
The last few moments of my demo took me to a flashback sequence where Emma was held captive by one of the more sophisticated robots. It's established here that Emma is also seen as a malefact, given her Blightborn powers with her hair that can be wielded like tree roots. She's told she has, quote, no heart, no humanity, no pity for your fellow malefacts, to which she replies, quote, what's pity? Only to be left with, quote, your appearance is the only reminder you were human. And I believe the implication from this cutscene is that Emma is being used as a weapon against the Blight, coerced by the humanoid robots to destroy the very thing that made her. Emma has a ghostly little girl named Violet by her side who keeps her grounded, saying, quote, empathy isn't beyond you, Emma. I am sure the day will come when you will understand. This push and pull on finding humanity in someone who seems devoid of emotion is pretty standard storytelling material, but when done well, it could still hit deep. The cutscenes feel a little stilted with limited animation, but that's where the writing needs to do the heavy lifting. And when you have a precious boy like Ku as a pet who's experiencing the same struggle of being Blightborn, it's easy to see how Beast of Reincarnation could be tugging on my heartstrings.
It looks interesting.
I could draw a ton of comparisons to other games I've played, like
Stella
Stella Blade or
Blade.
Ghost of Yotei when it comes to action and style.
Goated!
And of course, Nier with its tone and narrative themes. I also can't help but see parallels with my favorite anime film of all time, Princess Mononoke, a blight taking over the land caused by humanity's ignorance and abuse as a warrior girl and her wolf companion fight to survive the incursion, and tucked within that, messages about the importance of preserving your world. I'm just theory crafting at this point, but the twists and turns we've come to expect from these kinds of stories already has me invested in the conflict Emma is caught between with what seems to be a world itself rebelling against civilization. From so many aspects, I see touches of my favorite things reflected in Beast of Reincarnation, and that has me excited to see what it does with this foundation. Surprisingly though, director and writer Koto Furushima mentioned to me in a conversation that his biggest influence has been Blade Runner. In creating a new science fantasy world, Furushima said that he wanted to tap into visual themes of how technological creations have dwarfed the very people who made them. He also said that while very different aesthetically, the vision of a retro-futurist dystopia stuck with him and he wanted to write his own version of that kind of story. I'm aware that Game Freak has made games outside its long history with Pokemon, like Giga Wrecker and Little Town Hero, but Beast of Reincarnation is on a different scale. It's been in development for about 5 or 6 years, born out of an incubation effort for ideas to help the studio branch out and try new things, and I'm glad we won't have to wait long to see how it comes together in full since it launches on August 4th for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC.
That's like 2 weeks from now.
For more on action RPGs coming later this year, check out our exclusive coverage of The Blood of...
I'll check it out. I don't know if I'll be able to stream the whole thing because of that lands right in the middle of those weeks where I'm going to be going away. So we'll see how things pan out. But then again, we're not going to have anything to do in November. So there's that to look forward to. So yeah, we'll see how all that works out for us. That's pretty much everything that I had planned for today's episode of Cotton's Anvil. Show Kill Team Breachers. Haven't I shown my Breachers yet? I haven't even been playing them recently. But I can show you. I haven't been able to paint in so long, dude. I have not been able to paint in the longest time. Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. I actually, the thing that I've been trying to work on is my Tomb World. So every now and then, I do a little bit of that, but It's very slow going. I still haven't fully landed on what it's going to look like, but this gray is still going to be more yellowed out, to be more kind of like this. And then there's still going to be a couple of more highlights, but yeah, this is what I'm thinking for my tomb world. It's got to be this red, gray, yellowish type of thing. We'll see how it pans out. I'm painting a cabbage, if you know what that is. I have no idea. Am I going to play Dawn of War 4? I seem to remember that the release of that was annoying. When is it? 17th of September. I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. There's too many things happening in September. Onimusha's on the 4th. Blooded Dawnwalker on the 3rd. Yeah. We want Dad's Watch content. Dad Watch content. I haven't done a whole lot of stuff for Dad Watch, but yeah. Dad Watch channel in stasis. Like I said, I barely have time to do content for my channel with my kids during summer break, let alone doing content for other stuff. But I'm getting out of here, you guys. If you guys enjoyed today's stream, do hit the like button. Helps out immensely. Subscribe for more. And all of that good stuff. And I will see you guys later, all right? Stay strong. Safe. Peace out.